So you're a guitarist who's learnt your minor pentatonic scale E shape. Brilliant. Do you need to learn anything else, especially if you're sounding pretty damn good? As someone who's taught guitar for over 20 years, this is a conversation I've had many times, and the answer to the question is staring you in the face. I'm going to describe a common journey guitarists of all levels make from the moment they start jamming or improvising, often with backing tracks, and perhaps this will describe you and your journey. But perhaps it won't. If it doesn't, you're in the minority, so stay to the end, as I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, whatever your level. So we learn shape 1 or E shape of the minor pentatonic scale. It's easy to visualize, we can run up and down it without changing position, and then we spend the next 6, maybe 12 months, however long, practicing and improvising using exclusively this scale shape. We learn licks from books or magazines. Turtle Guitar Issue 1. It's almost older than me. Or perhaps more commonly these days, YouTube. We perhaps start to explore a few notes outside of the scale. We learn we can move up here. Or down here. We can slide here. We perhaps even learn that there are some new notes within the scale as well, which bring out some cool sounds. The 9th is a cool sound to stumble upon. We add in our flat 5 and we get the blues scale, another cool discovery. But our perspective doesn't shift from this scale shape, which becomes the center of our guitar solo and universe, for months. When we need to change key, we simply move it to a different fret. You live it, you breathe it, you start to get good, fast and fluid. You don't even need to look at it, you feel
competent.
But then you get curious. Maybe you jammed with a friend who's soloing using the whole neck, or you see a video talking about the cage system, or join in shape 1 to shape 2. You realize there's more, and this is exciting. But here's where this gets problematic for lots of guitarists, and it has everything to do with our egos. Hear me out, and don't get hurt by that. If you are hurt by that, you should definitely watch on. I think a lot of guitar learners start this next stage with good intentions. A common and easy step to take here is to learn all 5 minor pentatonic cage shapes. There are tons of resources, and it's not a difficult task, but that's actually your first mistake. None of these shapes are difficult to play, sure. And I've no doubt that many of you can play all 5 of these shapes, but you've gone from going deep on one shape for months until it falls under the fingers in your sleep to finding a PDF or some YouTube video, getting excited and trying to learn 4 more shapes simultaneously. Perhaps you've gone a step further and sourced some licks in the other shapes, but one thing almost no one does is go through the same process that you went through with E shape and immerse yourself in just one of these shapes for several months, playing almost exclusively that shape. We simply don't give our brains the same time to absorb the notes and patterns of C or A or G shape like we did with E shape, which was our only focus. When was the last time you put on a backing track, restricting yourself to starting and ending with only one of the pentatonic shapes? I'd hazard a guess at never. While I guarantee that you'd have spent many an hour jamming with E shape and only E shape. Why? It feels good. And that's the second problem. Here's where the ego halts our progress. We like feeling fluid and competent, and the E shape allows us to do that. We've long forgotten how it felt in the early days before you could confidently blast through a 12-bar blues in E shape. That was the past when we were novices, we were crap. This is now, and we like to feel, albeit subconsciously, that we've always been this good and that it's natural talent. So although I'm sure a lot of you know all 5 pentatonic shapes, how many of you really know them? Have you invested the time into going through the same process, learning each of them as well as you do E shape? It takes a lot of motivation to force yourself to spend time on an unfamiliar scale shape, learning licks, patterns, sequencing, thirds, triads, 4-note arpeggios, going through the same process that works so well with E shape, taking the time needed to get to that same point of mastery and competence. It takes a lot of mental strength, and a lot of guitarists aren't prepared to do that, to spend time feeling less competent when they can easily just jump back to E shape and you're away, you feel great. Or even worse, you've given yourself a pass because you've convinced yourself that these other shapes are harder than E shape, or they don't sound as good. That's why you're crap at them. It's not your fault for not putting the time in. But knowing all 5 cage shapes equally is 100% possible for all of us. There are licks and exercises available for each shape. There's a ton of cage stuff on the Jam Station Patreon, just waiting around for you to check out. And you can choose to put on a backing track and just explore one of the lesser known shapes for weeks and months. It's a process, isn't it? Let's take D shape. What's the chord you should be visualizing and playing over that while jamming? It's there. Then work out where the root notes are. Where are your A's? Where are the thirds? Where are the fifths? Do you know your sevenths? Feel average again for a few months to get not just good, but really good all over the fretboard, and it will pay off. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like if you've watched this far, subscribe, and if you're looking for a little community in your guitar playing, then join me for one of my 2 weekly YouTube live streams. Monday night is an ear training session, open to any kind of musician. So if you and your bassist want to sharpen your ears, invite them over for a Monday night beer. If your singer keeps singing out of tune, discreetly send them the link to this next one. Thursday nights I run a weekly live stream guitar lesson on the modes. Each week we look at a new way of exploring the modes of the major scale. And these sessions are a great way of building your technique, your fingerboard knowledge, and we throw in some music theory for good measure. Finally, on Friday the 10th of July, that's this Friday, we're running the first monthly Zoom Hangout for members of our Patreon community. Join us for a coffee or a beer, connect with some like-minded guitarists, and share your journey. Patreon membership starts from just $2 a month, and you'll get access to a lot of professional material. Over 160 professional lessons, and a guitar teacher at hand for less than the price of that coffee or that beer. Go get it.